Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Today's video is all about knowing the differences between watercolor and gouache. So, gouache is an opaque watercolor. It is designed to be used with opaque methods of painting. It is used mostly by commercial artists and for illustration purposes and for comics, posters. So, I have been working very lately with gouache and I instantly fell in love with this medium. So today I am going to explain all the things that I know about watercolor and gouache. So if we see, watercolor usually comes in three forms. It will come in tubes and in pans like these, and sometimes watercolor comes in liquid form. But if we see gouache, gouache usually comes only in tubes. I have seen gouache coming in pans very rarely. So, watercolor and gouache both are made up of similar kind of materials that makes these properties similar. Both are made up of pigment and binder. But gouache is made using more pigment compared to watercolor that makes it more opaque, and watercolors a transparent medium. Both are activated using water, but the amount of water we use along with these mediums differ. We use more water in watercolors and less water is sufficient in gouache. Greens can be more realistic in gouache, as I have observed. The similarities between watercolor and gouache is both are activated using water. We have to apply water to make this medium work, and both can be reactivated after drying by applying water. See, once it completely dries, we can apply water to reactivate it. And coming to the materials used for gouache, there are no specific materials for gouache, no specific special materials designed only for gouache. We generally use the paper and brushes, both that we use for watercolors. Gouache can be painted on more thicker surfaces compared to watercolor because it is an opaque medium. And coming to the differences, if we draw a black line and paint watercolor and gouache on the top of it, we can easily see the black line. The watercolor is not at all covering the line, and if we see gouache, to a total extent, to a maximum extent, it is covering the line. It shows that gouache is more opaque than watercolors. The more pigment makes it more opaque. And watercolor spreads evenly on paper, but when we see gouache just sit on the top layer of the paper. Since we don't use much water for gouache, it sits just on the top of the paper. Coming to another difference between watercolor and gouache, we use more water in watercolors compared to gouache, so it takes more time for watercolors to dry compared to gouache. Gouache dries very quickly. We have to work very faster with gouache. Since the medium dries very quickly, we have to be very quick while using gouache. And as we know, in watercolors we work from lighter to darker. Once we apply the darker tones, we cannot apply lighter tones on the above of it. But in gouache, we can use lighter colors on the darker tones, we can go from either darker to lighter or lighter to darker. It makes it more flexible compared to watercolors. And blending in watercolors is more simple compared to gouache. We know as we can blend more easily in watercolors, more colors, but in gouache the blending is more difficult. We have to use whites for the blending techniques, and it was more difficult, I say. And if we add more water to gouache, it behaves in similar way to watercolors. As you can see here, it does not completely similar to watercolor, but it acts mostly like watercolor if we add more water. So friends, these are the main differences and similarities I observe between watercolors and gouache. Hope you all enjoy this video and hope you all learn something. Thank you so much for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel for more video updates. You can see all my gouache paintings and watercolor paintings in my Instagram handle. I attach a link in the description box. Please go and check.